LeBron James made his long-awaited return to the court on Tuesday night, and as always, rewriting NBA history. After missing nearly a month due to a lower back injury, the Los Angeles Lakers superstar became the first player in league history to officially reach 23 seasons, a milestone no other athlete had even approached while maintaining this level of productivity. Against the Utah Jazz, James logged 30 minutes and delivered a complete performance. 11 points, 3 rebounds, and an impressive 12 assists. With those 11 points, he extended one of the most remarkable streaks in sports, 1,293 consecutive games scoring in double digits, a record that began in early January of 2007 and continues across franchises, eras, teammates, and rule changes. But the historic night didn't stop there. James also moved past Hall of Famer Reggie Miller on the NBA's all-time three-point list, climbing into 6th place with 2,561 made threes. For a player once criticized early in his career for his outside shooting, the milestone underscores just how dramatically his offensive arsenal has evolved. His return brought immediate impact. The Lakers controlled the game from start to finish, securing a 140-125 victory over Utah. James led the team in assists and orchestrated the offense with a level of comfort that seemed to defy his long absence. There were no signs of hesitation, no moments of uncertainty, only the composed, calculated approach that has defined his career. Head coach JJ Redick highlighted James's decision-making, noting how he consistently recognized defensive coverages, resisted forcing shots, and kept the ball moving. Redick emphasized that whenever James operated from the post or attacked the paint, the Jazz defense was forced to react, opening passing lanes all over the floor. According to Redick, it was the right spirit. Unselfish, methodical, and completely team first. James's return comes after he missed the first 14 games of the season due to sciatica in his lower back. Monday marked his first full-speed practice with the main roster since the team's playoff elimination in April. Before that, he completed 2 consecutive practices with the South Bay Lakers, the franchise's G League affiliate, pushing himself through back-to-back sessions without experiencing pain. It was a calculated progression designed to test his conditioning and physical response before returning to the NBA stage. After his initial practice with the main group, James joked that his lungs felt like a newborn's, admitting that he still needed to rebuild his game-ready conditioning. He also mentioned losing his voice from calling out defensive assignments, a reminder that vocal leadership is still a major part of his game. He said he planned on drinking plenty of tea and resting, but the bigger message was clear. Being back with his teammates meant everything to him. This return also marks a turning point for the Lakers. For the first time this season, the roster is close to full strength, allowing fans and analysts to finally see what this version of the team looks like at full capacity. All eyes now shift to the trio of Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, and LeBron James, a combination that blends youth, elite shot-making, playmaking, and one of the greatest basketball minds the sport has ever seen. At 11-4, the Lakers have already shown flashes of strong chemistry and improved identity. With James back in uniform and already making an impact, the team's ceiling becomes harder to define and even more intriguing. The coming weeks will offer the first real glimpse of what their offensive structure and defensive potential can look like with their core pieces aligned and healthy. For now, one thing is certain: LeBron James's return wasn't just another comeback game. It was another chapter in an already historic career, one that continues to stretch boundaries, redefine longevity, and set new standards for what greatness looks like in the NBA. And speaking of greatness and legacy, there are figures who marked the NBA so profoundly that they still generate heated debates today. One of them is Shaquille O'Neal, the protagonist of a discussion that recently gained momentum through one of basketball's most respected writers. On October 27th, Shay Serrano returned to the basketball world with Expensive Basketball, a new New York Times best-selling release that instantly grabbed the attention of fans who have followed his writing for years. Serrano has always had a unique ability to take basketball nostalgia, personal memory, and cultural analysis and blend them into something both entertaining and unexpectedly emotional. This new book is no different. It revisits the players, the eras, and the moments that shaped his connection to the sport, not with cold analysis, but through a raw, deeply personal lens. One of the most memorable chapters focuses on a figure Serrano once loved to hate: Los Angeles Lakers legend Shaquille O'Neal. For a devoted San Antonio Spurs fan who spent years watching the Lakers crush his team's title hopes, Shaq represented a nightmare, and he wasn't the only one. Serrano explains that O'Neal not only tormented the Spurs during the Tim Duncan and David Robinson years, but also dismantled several of his other favorite players and teams at the time. Serrano walks through it all. The 2000 NBA Finals, where Shaq and Kobe toppled the Indiana Pacers led by Reggie Miller, the first NBA star Serrano ever idolized. The 2001 Finals, where Allen Iverson's legendary Game 1 explosion shocked the Lakers for a moment, only for Shaq to demolish the 76ers over the next 4 games. And the early 2000s battles with the Chris Webber Sacramento Kings, a team many considered the most beautifully constructed offense of the era. Each year, the Kings pushed Los Angeles to the brink. Each year, Shaq sent them home. O'Neal wasn't simply dominant, he was so overwhelming that the NBA literally rewrote its defensive rules to contain him. Zone defenses, which had been banned, returned in large part because teams needed a new way to slow down the 300+ pound force who lived at the rim and punish single coverage like no one before or since. It's ironic. The league's shift towards spacing, ball movement, and tactical complexity, the backbone of today's modern game, was shaped partially by trying to control the most old-school superstar imaginable. When I sat down with Serrano to talk about expensive basketball, Shaq's name came up almost immediately, and Serrano didn't hold back. Here's the wild thing, Serrano said, the 2000 and 2002 Lakers, Shaq absolutely ruined my life, my basketball life. He wrecked it. He's tied to so many terrible memories, but somehow I'm always the one defending him when people say Shaq would get played off the floor today. Are you out of your mind? Serrano believes the idea that O'Neal would struggle is completely absurd. In his words, Shaq in that 3-year window would average something like 40 and 28 today. Something absurd. People say, well, teams would drag him out to the 3-point line. Fine, that's one side of the floor. What about the other? You still have to handle this guy, this volcano of a human being, who decides exactly where he wants to go and does it every single possession. He pauses, then adds, drop him in today's NBA and he's instantly the most dominant player in the league again, and whichever roster he's on becomes a title contender, if not the favorite. I can't believe I'm defending Shaq of all people. Serrano goes further, comparing O'Neal to today's greatest modern center, Nikola Jokic. Not in skill set, but in impact. He'd be dominant. Do you know what Shaq would be today? Serrano asked. He'd be like, what if the Joker was fast? That's Shaq. That's how he would look in the modern NBA. Of course, O'Neal wouldn't suddenly become a 3-point shooter or a point center playmaker. He wouldn't be launching 5 threes a night or averaging nearly 11 assists like Jokic, but Serrano insists none of that would matter. His physical presence alone, combined with his underrated footwork, explosiveness, and touch around the basket, would reshape every defensive game plan in the league. We don't need to teach Shaq how to shoot threes, Serrano said. If you have Shaq, you throw him the ball on the block, he turns, he tosses someone aside like a folding chair, and that's the possession. That's the offense. As Serrano explains, the modern NBA has more shooting, more spacing, fewer big bodies capable of dealing with someone like O'Neal. Instead of being neutralized, he might actually be more dangerous today than he was 2 decades ago. With more room to operate, the Diesel wouldn't just dominate, he'd destroy. But beyond the Shaq chapter, Serrano also opened up about why he returned to basketball as a writing topic 8 years after Basketball and Other Things, a book that earned cult classic status. For nonfiction, you can only write about something you truly love, he said. You're going to spend years researching, rewriting, just living inside that topic. And for me, the things I truly love are basketball, rap, movies, and maybe TV. Once he committed to another basketball book, the hard part was figuring out the angle. Okay, so you know it's about basketball, Serrano explained, but what exactly? A Tim Duncan book? A book about the 2000-2002 Lakers? Something else entirely? You need a hook. You need a reason for the book to exist. So he spent months wandering through different concepts, writing test chapters, and bouncing ideas off friends. I'd message a buddy or grab lunch with someone, and I started asking everyone the same thing. Tell me one of your favorite basketball memories. And every single person answered the exact same way, same rhythm, same emotional beat. It was never about stats or records or analytics charts. It was always about a moment, a sound, a reaction, a feeling. When people talk about something they love, it always begins with the emotion, Serrano said. Well, I was in the arena when the shot dropped. The crowd exploded. It's always that moment first. And that was fascinating to me. That's when I realized the book needed to capture that exact feeling. The basketball moments that made you feel something. That became the heartbeat of expensive basketball. And ironically, one of the moments that shaped Serrano the most was being helplessly crushed by Shaquille O'Neal. While we look back at the past and debate legends like Shaq, the Lakers continue shaping their future, and the moves the franchise is planning for next season could completely redefine the team's structure. The Los Angeles Lakers are once again at the center of major offseason speculation, and this time the conversation focuses on a potential move for a former All-Star and NBA champion to pair with Luka Doncic. Despite a busy free agency period, there's a growing belief around the league that the Lakers are far from finished shaping their roster for next season. The front office, now working under head coach JJ Redick, has made its intentions clear: build a team capable of contending immediately. To do that, Los Angeles wants more defensive stability on the wing, especially someone who can take on demanding matchups every night and ease the load on Doncic, allowing him to operate more freely on offense without carrying every responsibility. That's where Andrew Wiggins becomes a compelling target. Wiggins fits nearly every need the Lakers have. He is a proven champion, a strong two-way contributor, and a player who has already succeeded as a secondary or tertiary option. He understands how to play next to a superstar without disrupting the team's overall rhythm, and he has shown in big playoff moments just how impactful he can be on the defensive end, including in his head-to-head battles with Doncic in past postseason series. Sports Illustrated's Ryan Shay recently laid out a trade framework designed to bring Wiggins to Los Angeles in a three-team structure involving the Miami Heat. Lakers receive Andrew Wiggins, Heat receive Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and 2 future first-round picks for Los Angeles. The logic is straightforward. Wiggins adds championship experience, switchable defense, and the versatility to guard multiple positions. At 6'7", with athleticism and length, he would immediately become the Lakers' top perimeter defender, a role the team has struggled to fill consistently in recent years. Hachimura's contract situation also factors into the equation. With free agency approaching in the 2026-27 season, there is a real possibility that the Lakers could lose him without compensation. Moving him now while his value is still strong could be a strategic decision. Yes, 2 first-round picks is a significant price, but the Lakers have never hesitated to sacrifice future assets in order to maximize their present window. And with Luka Doncic entering the prime of his career, the organization appears committed to surrounding him with reliable, playoff-tested talent. Wiggins would also fit naturally into the Lakers' projected starting lineup. He wouldn't be expected to carry the offense, instead serving as a steady third scoring option and the team's best defensive stopper on the perimeter. He defends elite scorers, attacks the glass, runs the floor, and hits open shots created by Doncic's gravity. For Wiggins, this role is ideal. His best basketball has always come when he isn't forced to shoulder a heavy offensive load. Los Angeles offers a similar structure to the environment where he played his most effective basketball. The dynamic with Doncic adds another layer to the story. While the two were once on opposite sides of intense postseason matchups, with Wiggins making life difficult for him, the possibility of joining forces brings a new narrative: an elite offensive engine paired with a championship-tested wing defender capable of taking on the toughest assignments every night. It's the sort of balance contenders strive for, but rarely find. If Los Angeles aggressively pursues this deal, it signals one thing clearly: the organization believes its championship window is open right now, and it's ready to make bold moves to stay in the hunt. And for Wiggins, stepping into a system designed to amplify his strengths while minimizing the pressure to create offensively could revive the very best version of his game, potentially helping push the Lakers into another deep playoff run. In a league where the margins at the top are razor thin, adding a player with Wiggins' profile could be exactly the move that shifts the balance in the Western Conference. Whether the deal ultimately happens or not, one thing is certain: the Lakers are not standing still. And the possibility of landing a former All-Star and NBA champion to play alongside Luka Doncic is already shaping this offseason into one of the most consequential in recent Lakers history.